You think men are simple, don't you? That all it takes is the obvious touch, the obvious kiss, and he'll give himself over to you. But let me tell you something most women never discovered: a man's body has secret places, hidden switches, that when you touch them the right way in the right moment, you don't just turn him on, you take his control. You make his breath catch, his muscles tremble, and suddenly the confident, composed man in front of you is weak for you. And the most delicious part, it's not where you think, it's not the obvious spots, it's the ones no one talks about, the ones that mess with his mind as much as his body. Imagine leaning in close, not even kissing him yet, just letting your lips hover near his skin as your fingers graze a place he never expected. His voice drops, his eyes darken, his whole body leans into you without him even realizing it. You whisper something soft, something dirty, and his control shatters. That's the power you're about to have. The power to make him ache for you without ever going where he expects. The power to make him crave your touch like it's oxygen. And once you learn these places, once you master how to use them, he won't be able to hide it. He'll look at you differently. He'll remember your touch when you're not even in the room. He'll feel you on his skin long after you've pulled away. You'll become his addiction. And trust me, once you taste that kind of power, you'll never settle for anything less. But what happens when you become the author of this silent dialogue? What happens when you learn to speak this language with such fluency and nuance that you can compose a symphony on his very skin? This is not about the obvious overtures, the crashing cymbals of overt sexuality that everyone already understands. This is about the subtle notes, the quiet vibrations, the whispered melodies that resonate not just with his body, but with the deepest, most guarded chambers of his mind and soul. This is about understanding that the map of a man's desire is not limited to the territories everyone knows. There are hidden pathways, secret gardens, and pressure points that lie dormant, waiting for a knowing hand to awaken them. When you learn exactly where to touch him, you are not merely arousing him. You are communicating on a level that bypasses his logic, sidesteps his ego, and speaks directly to the ancient, instinctual core of his being. You are touching the man beneath the man. These touches make him weak in the knees, not from force, but from a sudden, overwhelming sense of surrender. They switch on a network of circuits deep inside his body and his mind, lighting up pathways he may not have even known he possessed. This is the kind of touch that makes him crave you, not just as a partner, but as an essential element, like the air he needs to breathe. Transforms you from a participant in the dance of seduction into the choreographer of his desire. Tonight, we embark on a journey to uncover 5 of these pivotal touch points. These are not just locations on the body, they are keys, each one unlocking a different aspect of his psyche and his physical response. They are the spots that make him melt with a pleasure so profound it borders on pain, ache with a longing that is both physical and emotional, and hunger for you in ways that no simple kiss or obvious move ever could. These are the touches that slip under his defenses, disarm his conscious mind, and ignite a fire within him that he will associate with you and you alone. When you master this art, you do more than just turn him on. You seize his attention with an unbreakable grip. You become the sole proprietor of his desire. You own the part of him that he keeps hidden from the world, the vulnerable, authentic self that he doesn't give away to anyone. This is the ultimate power in intimacy, not a power of control over him, but a power to connect with him so deeply that he feels seen, understood, and utterly consumed by you. Let us begin. Let us begin. The primal gate, the back of his neck, the psychology of vulnerability and trust. Before we delve into the technique, we must first understand the profound psychological and physiological significance of our first location, the back of the neck. In the animal kingdom, and in the primal memory of our own species, the nape of the neck is a symbol of absolute vulnerability. It is the target for a predator's final strike, the place where a single decisive blow means the difference between life and death. It is the part of himself a man cannot see, the part he cannot easily defend. His entire nervous system is hardwired with this ancient knowledge. His instincts scream, protect this spot. So what happens when you, the object of his affection and desire, gently and lovingly place your touch upon this primal gate? The effect is nothing short of an electrical storm in his brain. His body receives 2 powerful conflicting signals simultaneously, Dan, GR, and Safway. The danger signal, the unexpected contact in this vulnerable zone, triggers a microsecond of alarm. His adrenal system prepares for a fight or flight response. His senses sharpen, his muscles tense, and his full, undivided attention is immediately locked onto the source of the sensation. This is not a conscious thought, it is a deep, instinctual reaction. The safety signal almost immediately after the initial jolt. His conscious mind processes that the touch is not a threat. It is slow, it is gentle. It is coming from someone he trusts and is attracted to. This realization sends a wave of relief, flooding his system with endorphins and oxytocin, the neurochemicals of bonding and pleasure. This collision of primal fear and profound safety creates a state of heightened arousal that is incredibly potent and addictive. You have, in one simple gesture, taken him to the edge of his instinctual defenses and then pulled him back into a cocoon of intimate security. It's a neurological short circuit, and it's intoxicating. He is subconsciously registering that you are someone he can let his guard down with, someone to whom he can expose his most vulnerable self and not only survive but thrive. The art of the neck touch. A symphony in 4 movements. Mastering this touch is not about a single action, but about understanding the nuances of pressure, speed, and context. Think of it as a musical composition. Movement Ive, the ascending inquiry. This is the opening note designed to capture his attention and set the stage. It should be subtle, almost accidental at first. The setting you are standing or sitting beside or slightly behind him. Perhaps you are looking at something together or he is focused on a task. The key is that he is not fully expecting intimate contact. The execution begin at the top of his shoulder, near the collar of his shirt. Use only your fingertips. Let your touch be as light as a whisper, as if you are merely tracing the seam of his clothing. Now, begin a slow, deliberate ascent. Move your fingers upward along the corded muscle that runs from his shoulder to the base of his skull. This is the trapezius muscle, a place where men hold a great deal of tension. Your light touch is not a massage, it is an exploration. It is a question you are asking his body. Feel the warmth of his skin, the texture of the fabric, the climax as you reach the base of his skull, where his neck meets his hairline. Pause. This is the epicenter. The fine hairs here are exquisitely sensitive. Let your fingers rest in this hollow space for a beat. The pause is critical. It is in this moment of stillness that his brain catches up to what is happening and the full force of the sensation washes over him. You will feel it. A slight stiffening of his posture, a sharp intake of breath, a subtle shiver that runs down his spine. That is his body surrendering to your touch. Movement Awe, the whisper command. Now that you have his complete and undivided attention, you will layer another sensory input to amplify the effect. The setting, you are still paused at the base of his skull. The execution, lean in close so that your lips are just inches from his ear. Do not touch him with your lips yet. Let him feel the warmth of your breath first. This alone will send a jolt through his system. Then, whisper something. The content is less important than the delivery. It could be a simple, hey, a compliment about how good he smells, or a suggestive, I've been thinking about you. The words should be spoken in a low, breathy tone. The vibration of your voice, combined with the warmth of your breath and the pressure of your fingers on his neck, creates a sensory trifecta that is almost overwhelming. He is not just hearing your words, he is feeling them resonate through his entire nervous system. Movement Hev, the artful denial. This is where you introduce the element of tension and anticipation, the psychological component that transforms a pleasant touch into an unforgettable obsession. The setting, you have just whispered in his ear. His body is primed for more. He is likely turning his head, expecting a kiss. The execution, do not give it to him. As he turns towards you, anticipating the meeting of your lips, deny him that satisfaction. This is a crucial pivot. Instead of kissing his mouth, let your head continue its path and press your lips gently to the side of his neck, on the tensed muscle just below his ear. Let the kiss be soft and lingering. Then pull away slowly, letting your fingers trail from the back of his neck down his back as you move. The effect, you have created a powerful open loop in his mind. He was expecting a resolution, the kiss, and you denied him. This act of playful denial does something maddening to the male brain. It creates a question that his mind will obsessively try to answer. Why didn't she kiss me? When will she? The waiting, the anticipation is what will burn you into his thoughts for hours, even days to come. He is no longer just physically aroused. He is mentally and emotionally captivated. Movement IV, the public proclamation, advanced technique. This is about using the neck touch as a subtle, powerful gesture of ownership in a social setting. The setting, you are out together, perhaps at a bar, a party, or with friends. He is engaged in a conversation with others. The execution, approach him from behind without breaking his conversation or drawing over attention. Place your open palm on the back of his neck. Let it rest there for a few seconds. A firm, warm, possessive touch. You can give a gentle squeeze, a silent signal that says, I'm here, you're with me. Then Remove your hand and move away, perhaps to get a drink or speak to someone else. The effect, this is a power move that operates on multiple levels. To him, it is a sudden, intimate jolt of connection that pulls his focus back to you, even while he is talking to others. It is a secret message shared between the two of you in a crowded room. To anyone who happens to see the gesture, it is a clear non-verbal statement of your bond. He is mine. It taps into his protective and possessive instincts, making him feel claimed and desired in a way that is deeply satisfying to the masculine ego. The back of his neck is more than just skin and bone. It is the control panel for his primal instincts. When you learn to play it like an instrument, you are not just giving him pleasure, you are communicating your trust, your desire, and your power in a language his body and soul will never forget. Number 2, the seed of strength, his chest, the psychology of armor and acceptance. A man's chest is his shield. From the time he is a boy, he learns to puff it out as a display of confidence, to square his shoulders as a show of strength, to stand tall, to project authority. It is the physical manifestation of his ego, his masculinity, his role as a protector. It is the armor he wears to face the world. This armor is not just physical, it is emotional. Behind his sternum lies his heart, the literal and metaphorical core of his being, the seat of his deepest emotions and vulnerabilities. Most physical interactions with a man's chest are either aggressive, a shove, a punch, or perfunctories, a brief hug, a pat on the back. They rarely linger, they rarely explore. Because of this, the chest remains a heavily fortified, yet surprisingly neglected zone of intimacy. When you place your hand on his chest, you are not trying to break through his armor. You are doing something far more powerful. You are acknowledging it, honoring it, and then being invited past it. Your touch is a silent declaration that says, I see your strength. I am not intimidated by it. I accept it. And I am safe enough to touch the heart that lies beneath it. This act of acceptance is profoundly disarming. It melts the tension he carries in his shoulders and torso. It tells him that with you, he does not need to posture or perform. He can simply be. This is not just about seduction. It is about creating a sanctuary. A touch to his chest can convey more safety, acceptance, and love than 1,000 words of reassurance. It is the key that unlocks the emotional man who resides behind the shield of masculinity. The art of the chest touch. Connecting to his core, touching his chest effectively is about intention. Are you seeking connection? Are you expressing affection? Are you building sensual tension? Each intention requires a different approach. Technique, the heartbeat anchor. This is the foundational touch, designed to create a deep, almost meditative connection. The setting, you are in a quiet, intimate moment. Perhaps you are lying in bed, cuddling on the couch, or sharing a slow dance. The execution, place your hand flat on his chest, directly over his heart. Don't just place it there, let it settle. Feel the weight of your hand, the warmth transferring from your palm to his skin. Close your eyes for a moment and focus on the sensation beneath your hand. Feel the steady, rhythmic thump of his heartbeat. Let your own breathing begin to synchronize with it. This is not a passive act. You are actively listening to the rhythm of his life with your hand. The amplification, let him see what you are doing. Let him feel your focus. He will become acutely aware of his own heartbeat and of the fact that you are connected to it. It creates an incredibly profound sense of intimacy and presence. He feels seen on a biological level. If you are close enough, rest your head on his other side so your ear is also against his chest. The combination of feeling and hearing his heartbeat while your hand provides a warm, steady pressure is an experience of such deep peace and connection that it borders on the spiritual. It makes him feel like you're home. Technique AE. The invisible script, this technique is about introducing a playful, teasing element that stimulates his nerves and his imagination. The setting, this can be done in a more playful or sensual context. You might be sitting opposite him, leaning in to talk, or during foreplay. The execution, instead of a flat palm, use only your fingertips. Rest them lightly on his sternum. Begin to trace slow, invisible patterns on his skin. It could be circles, figure eights, or even spelling out a secret word. The touch should be light, almost ticklish, but deliberate. Let your nails graze his skin ever so slightly. The nerve endings in his chest, so often ignored, will spring to life. The power of eye contact. This touch is magnified tenfold when paired with intense, unbroken eye contact. As your fingers dance across his chest, lock your gaze with his. Let your eyes hold a hint of mischief, a silent promise of what's to come. He is now caught in two simultaneous streams of sensory input, the maddeningly light touch on his skin and the overwhelming intensity of your gaze. His brain won't know where to focus, creating a delightful sensory overload that short-circuits his logical thought and pulls him completely into the moment with you. He is not just being touched, he is being mesmerized. Technique, the muscle adoration, this touch is designed to acknowledge and appreciate his physicality and strength, playing directly to his masculine pride in a way that feels empowering to him and intimate for you. The setting after he has exerted himself, perhaps after working out, doing yard work, or even just after a stressful day or during a moment of passion. The execution, use your whole hand for this. Start at his collarbone and slowly, firmly sweep your hand down over his pectoral muscle, following its shape toward his armpit and then down his side. The pressure should be firm and confident, as if you are sculpting him from clay. You are not just touching skin, you are appreciating the form and function of the muscle beneath. You are communicating your admiration for his physical strength through your touch. Verbal reinforcement. As you do this, you can add a quiet verbal cue. Something as simple as, "You feel so strong," whispered with genuine appreciation, will send a surge of pride and desire through him. You are validating a core aspect of his masculine identity, and in doing so, you are making him feel like a king under your hands. It is a powerful aphrodisiac that has little to do with friction and everything to do with recognition. Technique IV, the shirted caress. This demonstrates that you don't need skin to skin contact to create a powerful effect. It's about showing you desire to be close to him, even through a layer of clothing. The setting, you are in a semi-public or casual setting. You are greeting him, saying goodbye, or just passing by him in your home. The execution, as you approach him for a hug or a kiss, place your hand on his chest first. Let it linger there for a moment before you complete the embrace. Press firmly enough that he can feel the heat and pressure of your hand through his shirt. As you talk to him, you can leave your hand there, unconsciously rubbing a small circle with your thumb. The effect this gesture transforms becomes a simple interaction. It says, "I'm not just going through the motions, I am connecting with you." The fabric of his shirt acts as a medium, creating a subtle friction and a sense of tantalizing distance. He knows your skin is just a millimeter away, and that knowledge alone is enough to create a spark of tension. It is a constant, low-level reminder of the physical intimacy you share, a way of staking your claim and expressing your affection all at once. A man's chest is the front door to his heart and his pride. When you learn to knock with a touch that is confident, accepting, and intentional, you will find that the door does not need to be forced. It will swing wide open for you, and you alone. Number 3, the instruments of power. His hands, the psychology of control and surrender. Consider a man's hands. They are his primary tools for interacting with and imposing his will upon the world. With his hands, he builds, he fixes, he fights, he provides, he creates. They are symbols of his competence, his agency, and his control. From opening a stubborn jar for you to gripping a steering wheel, his hands are almost always in a state of doing. He is the one who initiates, the one who holds, the one who takes. His hands are the active instruments. Yours, traditionally, are the receptive. This is why seizing control of his hands is one of the most profound and disorienting psychological flips you can perform in the dance of intimacy. When you take his hand and make it the object of your focused attention, you are subverting his expectations and altering the fundamental power dynamic in a thrilling way. You are transforming his tools of action into instruments of sensation. You are telling him, for now, you don't have to do anything. Just be. Just feel. Let me be the one in control. For a man who is so often burdened with the pressure to perform and to lead, this invitation to surrender is an incredible release. It frees him from the role of initiator and allows him to simply exist in a state of receptive pleasure. It is unexpected, it is intimate, and it is devastatingly effective. Underestimating the erotic potential of his hands is one of the greatest mistakes one can make. To touch his hands with intention is to touch the very core of his power and his identity, the art of the hand touch. A guide to gentle domination. The key to unlocking the power of his hands is detail. Do not just hold his hand, explore it, memorize it, worship it. Technique I, the palm reader's secret. This is about creating a moment of intense focus and almost mystical connection, turning his palm into a sacred text that only you can read. The setting, a quiet moment, sitting across from each other or side by side, in a car, at a dinner table, on a sofa. The execution, gently take his hand. Don't just grab it. Turn your own hand palm up in a gesture of invitation and let him place his hand in yours. Now, turn his hand over so his palm is facing up. Hold it with both of your hands. as if it were a precious object. Begin by slowly, deliberately tracing the major lines on his palm with the tip of your fingernail, the lifeline, the headline, the heart line. You don't need to know palmistry. You are not telling his fortune. You are commanding his attention. The narrative, as you trace, speaks softly. I wonder what stories these hands could tell, or there is so much strength right here. Your touch is slow, your voice is low, and your focus is absolute. This combination is hypnotic. You are taking something he sees every day and takes for granted, his own palm, and you are imbuing it with mystery, significance, and sensuality. He is seeing his own hand through your eyes, and it is a revelation. Technique IEs, the wrist vulnerable pulse. This technique targets a highly sensitive and often overlooked erogenous zone, the inside of his wrist. The setting, building on the previous technique or during any moment of closeness, the anatomy, the skin on the inside of the wrist is thin, delicate, and packed with nerve endings. More importantly, it is a major pulse point. The blood flows closer to the surface here than in almost any other part of the body. Touching this spot is an incredibly intimate act, subconsciously linked to life, vitality, and vulnerability. The execution while holding his hand, use the thumb of your other hand to draw slow, firm circles directly over his pulse point. Feel his pulse beating against your thumb. It is a tangible connection to his life force. Now elevate the gesture. Lower your head and press your lips to that exact spot. Don't just peck it, let your lips linger. Feel his pulse against your mouth. The warmth and softness of your lips on this exquisitely sensitive area will send a shockwave of pleasure up his arm and through his entire body. He will lose his composure because you have touched a place of deep symbolic vulnerability with an act of profound sensual reverence. Technique FE, the finger interlace and the squeeze of power. This is a dynamic touch that plays with tension, control, and anticipation, turning the simple act of holding hands into a high stakes game. The setting anytime you would normally hold hands, walking down the street, sitting in a movie theater, driving. The execution, intertwine your fingers with his. Most people stop there. You will not. Once your fingers are laced together, begin to play. Slowly tighten your grip. A gradual, deliberate squeeze that communicates both affection and a hint of possessiveness. Hold it for a few seconds, letting the pressure build. Then, just as slowly, relax your grip. You can then vary the sensation, running your thumbnail lightly along the side of his index finger, or using your fingertips to massage the webbing between his thumb and forefinger. The push and pull. The magic is in the push and pull of control. Squeeze, then release. Caress, then be still. You are creating a silent rhythm of tension and release that mirrors the rhythm of lovemaking itself. He will find himself unconsciously responding, squeezing back, testing your grip. It becomes a non-verbal conversation, a playful power struggle that builds a simmering fire of anticipation. He is no longer just passively holding your hand. He is an active participant in a game you initiated, a game he will desperately want to continue. Technique IV. Knuckle kiss. This is a gesture of reverence and respect that has an almost knightly, old-world charm to it, yet feels incredibly intimate. The setting, a moment of gratitude, a tender greeting or romantic farewell. The execution, lift his hand toward your mouth, but instead of kissing his palm or wrist, turn it over and gently kiss his knuckles. Kiss each one slowly. It is an act of adoration for his strength, for what his hands do. It is a gesture that acknowledges his power while simultaneously bringing him to his knees emotionally. The effect, this is not a common gesture, it is unexpected. It feels both deeply respectful and subtly submissive on your part, which in turn makes him feel powerful and protective. But because you are the one initiating it, you remain in complete control of the emotional tone of the moment. It is a beautiful paradox, a gesture of surrender that is actually an act of complete command. A man's hands are his connection to the world. When you take the time to connect with them, to explore them, to appreciate them, to claim them with your touch, you are doing more than just holding his hand. You are holding his power, his vulnerability, and his complete, undivided attention in the palm of your own. Number 4, the center of command, the small of his back, the psychology of guidance and possession. The fourth secret location is the small of a man's back, that subtle, elegant curve just above his hips. This area is a fulcrum, the pivot point for his entire upper body. It is his center of gravity and his center of motion. To touch him here is to touch his core, the very foundation of his physical presence. But the power of this touch extends far beyond the physical. It is a gesture steeped in profound psychological meaning. A hand on the small of the back is a primal, non-verbal signal of guidance, protection, and possession. Think of how you would guide someone through a crowded room. You would place a hand on the small of their back to steer them. Think of how a man often places his hand there on a woman as a subtle, public sign of their connection. It says, "You are with me. I am leading you. I am protecting you." When you, as a woman, initiate this touch with a man, you are once again flipping the traditional script, and the effect is electric. It is an act of gentle, confident assertion. It can be interpreted in several powerful ways, often simultaneously. Guidance, it says, "Come with me. I am leading you now," which can be an incredibly arousing invitation for a man to let go of control and follow your lead. Possession in public. It is a subtle but unmistakable claim. It tells the world he is mine in a way that is both elegant and deeply primal. It triggers a possessive pride in him. Intimacy. It is a deeply intimate touch, often performed under the cover of clothing, a secret shared between the two of you. It says, "I want to be closer to you." Arousal. The nerves in the lower back are directly connected to the sacral plexus, the nerve bundle that controls the pelvic region. Stimulating the small of his back can send a direct jolt of pleasure and arousal straight to his core. Touching him here is like taking the reins gently but firmly. It is a statement of intent, a physical manifestation of your desire to pull him into your world, to close the distance between you, and to claim him as your own. The art of the lower back touch steering his desire, the magic of this touch lies in its versatility. It can be a fleeting public gesture or a deeply sensual private act. Technique I've dubbed the public proclamation. This is the most common but often underutilized application of this touch. When done with intention, it is a powerful tool. The setting, you are in any public space, a restaurant, a party, walking down the street. The execution, as you walk side by side or as he stands talking. Place your hand firmly on the small of his back. Don't just tap it, let your palm rest there. Feel the warmth of his body through his clothes. You can use this to guide him through a doorway ahead of you, a subtle role reversal that he will definitely notice. Or you can simply rest it there as you stand next to him, your thumb hooked casually in his belt loop. The effect, he will feel a jolt of connection and pride. It's a possessive gesture that, unlike a jealous grip on his arm, feels supportive and confident. He feels claimed, and he feels your presence as a solid, steady force at his core. It makes you feel like a team, a single unit moving through the world together. Technique captivated, the shirt tuck tease. This is a more intimate and playful version, designed to breach the barrier of his clothing and create a spark of illicit thrill. The setting, a semi-private moment, perhaps in the kitchen while making dinner or dancing in a dimly lit club. The execution, slide your hand up under the back of his shirt. The sudden unexpected contact of your cool hand on the warm, sensitive skin of his lower back will make him gasp. Let your palm flatten against that spot, feeling the texture of his skin, the strength of the muscles beneath. Now, from this position, you have immense power. Use a slight firm pressure to pull him closer to you, closing the space between your bodies until you are flush against each other. The whisper as you pull him in, lean in and whisper something in his ear. "I've been waiting to do this all day." Or, "You have no idea what I'm going to do to you later." The combination of the secret skin on skin touch and the provocative whisper, while he is physically being pulled into your orbit, is absolutely devastating. It is an act of pure, confident seduction. Technique secret, the spinal trace. This is a sensual, almost meditative touch meant for private, intimate moments. It focuses on the spine as a conduit of energy and sensation. The setting, you are lying in bed or he is sitting in front of you. The execution, start at the small of his back, the sacrum. Use 1 or 2 fingertips and apply firm pressure. Slowly begin to trace a path directly up his spine, vertebra by vertebra. Imagine you are lighting up a chain of lights as you go. The spine is the superhighway of the nervous system. This slow, deliberate, and firm touch is sending a cascade of signals directly to his brain. The destination, your goal, is the back of his neck, our first secret spot. When you finally arrive at the base of his skull, completing the journey from his core to his command center, pause and press firmly. You have just connected 2 of the most powerful points on his body in one continuous hypnotic motion. Then you can let your hands sweep down his sides or tangle in his hair. The journey itself has built a tremendous amount of tension and pleasure, which you can now release. Technique IV, the circular H. This technique is about creating a localized, intense sensation that builds into a dull, pleasurable ache of desire. The setting, during foreplay or while you are cuddling, he is lying on his stomach or you are behind him. The execution, place the heel of your palm directly on the small of his back, in the dimpled area just above his glutes. Begin to move your hand in a slow, firm, circular motion. The pressure should be deep, almost like a massage, but the intent is purely sensual. This pressure stimulates the deep nerves and creates a radiating warmth that spreads through his entire pelvic region. The rhythm maintain a slow, steady rhythm. Don't speed up. The goal is to build the sensation gradually, letting it seep into his body until the small of his back feels like the glowing, molten core of his desire. It is a touch that doesn't just excite, it grounds him, focuses all of his physical energy into that one spot, making him acutely aware of his lower body and the hunger that is building there. The small of his back is the rudder of his body. When you place your hand there, you are not just touching him, you are steering him. You are guiding his body, commanding his attention, and possessing his desire in a way that feels to him like coming home. Number 5D, the threshold of desire, the inner thigh, the psychology of proximity and anticipation. We have now arrived at the final and perhaps most potent of the 5 secret touch points, the inner thigh. This is not a location for the faint of heart. It is territory charged with an almost unbearable amount of erotic electricity, and its power comes from one single, undeniable fact, its proximity to the epicenter of his sexuality. The skin of the inner thigh is unlike the skin on the rest of his leg. It is softer, more sensitive, and less accustomed to touch. It is threaded with a dense network of nerves that lead directly to the groin. To touch him here is to knock on the very door of his most primal desires. But we are not going to simply knock, we are going to play with the exquisite tension of the threshold. The psychological power of this touch is rooted in 3 concepts. Proximity: the closer you get to a direct erogenous zone without actually touching it, the more intense the arousal becomes. His entire body and mind become fixated on that small distance between your hand and his ultimate destination. Every millimeter is charged with meaning. Anticipation: this touch is a promise. It is the trailer for the movie he is now desperate to see. By touching him here, you are signaling your intent and your desire, but you are doing so on your own terms and on your own timeline. This controlled delay is a form of delicious torture that will drive his imagination into a frenzy. Denial: the most powerful element of this touch, is the artful retreat. To stroke upward, building his expectation to a fever pitch, and then to pull away. This act of playful denial is what separates a simple touch from an act of masterful seduction. It creates a vacuum of desire that he will feel compelled to fill, making him an active pursuer rather than a passive recipient. To touch his inner thigh is to play a high-stakes game of chicken with his composure. It is to whisper, "I know what you want, and you will have it, but not yet." This controlled anticipation is the fuel that turns a spark of attraction into an inferno of obsession. The art of the thigh touching. The mastery of the edge: this touch requires confidence and a flair for the dramatic. It is a statement piece, and it must be delivered with unwavering intent. Technique, i.e. the public secret: this is a move of supreme confidence designed to create a secret, white, hot bubble of intimacy for the two of you in a crowded public place. The setting: you are sitting next to each other, perhaps at a restaurant, a bar, in a movie theater, or even at a dinner party with friends. The key is that you are close, and his reaction must be contained. The execution: casually, as if it is the most natural thing in the world. Place your hand on his leg, not on his knee, too friendly, but on his lower thigh, just above the knee. Let it rest there for a moment. He will notice immediately. Now, under the cover of the table or the darkness, begin a slow, almost imperceptible journey with your fingers stroking upward on the inside of his thigh. The movement should be no more than a few inches. The freeze and retreat: as your fingers travel up that sensitive skin, watch him. He will try to maintain his composure, to continue his conversation, but you will see the subtle signs. A slight tensing of his jaw, a faltering in his speech, the way his eyes dart toward you. Just as he thinks you might continue, stop. Let your hand rest there for a moment, then casually remove it and place it back in your lap or on the table as if nothing happened. The aftermath: you have just detonated a silent bomb in his nervous system. He is now struggling to maintain a facade of normalcy while his entire inner world is in chaos. He can't react. He can't touch you back. He can only sit there, simmering in the anticipation you have created. He will be utterly, completely unable to focus on anything or anyone else but you for the rest of the evening. Technique A evening: the upward climb and the sudden cliff. This is the quintessential teasing touch, designed for private, intimate moments where you can fully exploit the power of anticipation and denial. The setting: you are in a private space during foreplay or a sensual massage. The execution: have him lie on his back. Start by touching his feet, his calves, his knees, slowly working your way up his body. This desensitizes him and builds a sense of rhythm. When you reach his thighs, work on the outside and the top first. Those are the less sensitive areas. then move to the inner thigh. Start just above his knee. Use your palm or your fingertips and begin a slow, deliberate stroke upward. The pace is crucial. It must be agonizingly slow. Let him feel every inch of the journey. The cliff, his body will be tensing, anticipating, waiting for you to reach your destination. As your hand gets tantalizingly close, an inch or two away, stop. And then, instead of completing the journey, pull your hand away completely. Drag your fingers lightly back down to his knee, or move to his other leg and start the process all over again. Or even more powerfully, move to a completely different part of his body, like his chest or his neck, leaving him hanging in a state of unresolved tension. This act of denial will make him throb with a need so intense, he will be ready to beg. Technique of fiade, the gentle squeeze of promise. This is a more direct and possessive touch, a clear statement of your desire and a promise of what is to come. The setting, you are lying side by side, or perhaps he is sitting and you are standing between his legs. The execution, place your hand high up on his inner thigh. Don't stroke or tease. Simply place your hand there, palm flat, and apply a gentle, firm pressure. Squeeze lightly as if you are testing the firmness of the muscle. This is a grounding, possessive touch that is less of a tease and more of a declaration. It says, this is mine, and this is what I want. The gazy, this move must be accompanied by direct, smoldering eye contact. As your hand rests firmly on this charged territory, look him straight in the eye. Don't smile. Let your gaze be intense, a clear window into your own desire. The combination of the firm, possessive touch and the unwavering, hungry look in your eyes will leave him in no doubt about your intentions. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated power that will leave him breathless. The inner thigh is the threshold to his desire. It is a place of immense power, not because of what it is, but because of what it is next to. By mastering the art of touching him here, by playing with proximity, anticipation, and denial, you are not just arousing his body, you are seizing control of his imagination. And when you have his imagination, his body and his heart will inevitably follow. We have journeyed through 5 hidden landscapes on the map of a man's body. We have explored the primal gate of his neck, the armored seat of his chest, the powerful instruments of his hands, the commanding center of his back, and the charged threshold of his inner thigh. But let us be clear, this was never just about anatomy. This was about psychology. This was about communication. This was about power, not the power of manipulation, but the power of profound intentional connection. Each of these 5 touch points is a key, and now they are in your possession. The back of the neck, the key to his primal surrender. The chest, the key to his emotional core. The hands, the key to his sense of control and identity. The small of the back here, the key to his direction and possession. The inner thigh, the key to his unbearable anticipation. These are not tricks to be performed in a rote sequence. They are notes in a new language you are learning to speak, a silent symphony that you can now compose. The true artistry lies in how you weave them together. Imagine a single, continuous motion, your hand resting on the small of his back in public, then sliding under his shirt as you find privacy, your fingers tracing a path up his spine to the nape of his neck, while your other hand takes his, bringing his wrist to your lips. Imagine sitting across from him, your eyes locked, while your hand makes that secret journey up his inner thigh. This is a dance. It is a conversation held in the spaces between words. And like any language, fluency comes with practice, and most importantly, with listening. Pay attention. Watch his body's response. Listen to the hitch in his breath. Watch for the flicker in his eyes. Feel the slight tremor under your fingertips. His body will tell you everything you need to know. It will tell you when to press forward, when to retreat, when to linger. When you master this language, you change the very fabric of your intimacy. You are no longer just a recipient of his affection, but an active architect of his desire. He will not just want you, he will be mesmerized by you. He will wonder how you know him so well, how you can touch him in ways that seem to read his very soul. He won't be able to articulate why he feels so drawn to you, why your touch feels different from any other he has ever known. He will only know that in your hands, he feels a combination of thrilling danger and profound safety, of raw vulnerability and kingly power. The truth is, once you know how to weave these touches together with your gaze, your voice, and your presence, you won't just have a man's attention for a night. You will have his curiosity, his respect, his hunger, and his loyalty. He will remember the way you made him feel in moments when you didn't even say a word. That is the kind of power most women never tap into, but you will, because now you know. So go forth and practice this art. Be bold, be intentional, be patient. Touch him where he least expects it and make him wait for more. Watch as he unravels, as his carefully constructed defenses melt away, as he surrenders not to you, but to the incredible, undeniable connection that your hands have forged. You will not just be the woman he desires, you will be the woman he can't imagine living without. You will be his most beautiful addiction.